it's interesting, too, to me, Michael, because so many of the families that we work with and the kids that we work with, a lot of them are nonverbal. A lot of them have not fully integrated into the physical body. They, in some cases, they haven't been able to come through that kind of mental and emotional body and really anchor into the physical body. So there's that distancing that's taking place. And what I'm watching and I find very interesting is that if we'll go to the parents and if we will begin to educate the parent about who the child is energetically, dimensionally, that sometimes that conscious awareness within the parent is enough for that population, population diagnosed with autism, to begin to start feeling a little bit more comfortable, coming a little bit more close to that physical experience. And also watching that it's almost as if, well, not as if, I hear this telepathically from the kids all the time. In this case, the parents are very much being the model for the physical, mental, emotional body, if you will, as the kids are still kind of being the model for the dimensional soul-level bodies. And it's almost as if the kids are saying, you know, we do need you to be physical. We need you to be that mental, clear mental processing, that clear emotional body, so that we can be more fully present in the experience. It's almost like they're asking for that level of learning, and they're asking for it energetically, not necessarily verbally.
Yes, because, see, the thing with being a child is you don't have the vocabulary, you don't have the concepts in this body-mind, and especially if you're not in the body very much.
Right.
That's across the board, any child I've ever dealt with autism, that's the number one, what's behind it is they're not in the body.
Exactly.
And now the next thing to really look at is why they're not in the body is many, many different things. As we incarnate, in the process of incarnating into our bodies, we come in stages.
Yeah.
We can't just plop into a newborn baby body, which is, 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds, and expect to just plop in and go, hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Where I'm here.
Exactly.
So it comes in two major stages. One, at birth, what might be called the lower part of one's soul self, the emotional feeling aspect of the soul self, comes in and into the body first. That's the baby being born. And it's just 1/3, in a sense, of ourselves that comes in, and that part comes into the area of the physical heart. There's a little energetic grotto, looks like a golden grotto there, and this little gold ball plops in there. And this is why from birth till about 7 years old, the child, you can give the best dissertation in your life, but it's not going to do any good if your feeling levels are not there.
Right.
You can say all the right things and everything, but underneath, if you're angry or guilty or ashamed or feeling sad or whatever it is, they're going to be communicating with you on a feeling-to-feeling level 9 to 1,
Yeah.
And so the mental part doesn't really make that much of a difference. Towards 7 years old, it starts to, and from 7 on till 21, the reasoning aspect of the soul comes in and takes residence in the pineal gland area of the brain. And that's why from about 7 years old, it's just the beginning of what we would call reasoning that starts to develop in the child. And that's long after they can talk and everything usually, but the kind of reasoning that the souls do in the early part of from birth till about 7 is based on an associative part of the mind. It associates this and this. So it might look like reasoning, but it's not real reasoning. It's matching energies and feeling and going, okay, this is like that, and that's like that, and this is good, so that's good, and this is, bad, so that's bad, and kind of like that. It's all on a feeling basis. And so then if a parent's not aware of what they're going through on an inner feeling level, the child's going to be tuned into that. And while the parent often is looking at the child of, God, what's wrong with the child, or what is she going through? Well, the child is only reflecting half of what's going on with the parent.
Right.
And
right.
so many times when I noticed that when a parent brought a child in, I just secretly worked on the parent, and the parent's energy cleans up, and the child's happy. You know,
Yes.
everything's fine. So that's a big part where sometimes as parents we get so tied up in my child first, not me.
Right.
But if you remember, if you're a mother and you remember being pregnant, it was no. In order for the baby inside of me to be healthy, I have to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't be drinking and smoking and all those things and expect this baby to be perfectly healthy. So a lot of mothers who used to smoke or who used to drink, they get pregnant and they go, hey, I got to cut this out.
Right.
And it's that kind of process that both parents, fathers and mothers, have to go through, is saying, oh yeah, if I don't treat myself well, just from that I'm not treating my child well.
Mm-hmm.
So I could, on the outside I could be the perfect parent, but in the inside, if I'm mistreating and abusing myself, the child's going to feel that, and they're going to feel your pain, they're going to feel your guilt, they're going to feel your regret, disappointment, whatever, and that's going to be much bigger in their world than anything you can tell them.
Absolutely. I think that what I'm noticing is that because children diagnosed with autism and some others who are not diagnosed but are very energetically sensitive stay up and out of their bodies, that process of feeling to feeling goes on a lot longer than just birth to 7. A lot of those, sometimes that population they spend their whole lives feeling their way through life instead of,
And that's one of the primary parts that keeps that being separate, the other part out of the body.
Yeah.
So the feeling part and the part of the reasoning part is so separate that that's part of what also keeps them out of the body as well. Even when the being is trying to get in, they can't seem to get in because they haven't dealt with the emotional part, the feeling part.
Yeah.
And that's why it goes longer instead of 7 years old. I mean, it doesn't end at 7 years old.
Right,
that part, of course, continues. But does it continue in unity with the reasoning part, or does it continue split from the reasoning part?
Right.
Then if it's been handled correctly up to about 7 years old, then chances are that the reasoning part comes in stronger and goes, okay, now I'm here, and oh yeah, this and this and this equals that. So yes, we'll go this way, even though I know I'm a little bit upset, but I can manage.
Right, the reasoning piece.
Yeah, I don't go off the handle because I just got a little angry. And it's like that. So then there starts to be a balance, whereas when that's not handled correctly, then the emotional part doesn't grow up and doesn't subordinate itself to the reasoning self and goes off on its own. So it has temper tantrums at 40 years old.
Yes, yes.